I'm David Kerr, Professor of Cancer Medicine at University of Oxford, and today I'd like to pose the question about what do we do if we don't like patients? So we take the Hippocratic Oath as a young student in Glasgow. We do that at the end of or just before our graduation ceremony. We hold our hands up and we repeat the Hippocratic Oath, first do no harm and so on. But what happens if we really intensely dislike a patient? Is it possible to offer them the very best care? So I was thinking back over a long career. I've been a cancer doctor for 40 years. I quite like saying that. Clearly I want some of you to post messages saying, no, that can't be so. He looks too young. But I can only think genuinely of a couple of times in which I've acted reflexively when a patient has done something awful. And the couple of times it happened, it was just terrible racist comments to junior doctors who were with me. Extraordinary, dreadful things. I don't want to be touched by, something of that sort of order. And without really thinking about it, you react as a normal citizen and say, that's absolutely awful. Apologise immediately or leave the consultation, never ever to come back again. So I remember that once in Glasgow, once when I was a wee boy professor in Birmingham, and it's just an automatic gut reaction. Patients got a fright, immediately apologised, and sort of grovelled around, seeking to. Because in that relationship, we hold all the power, don't we? And rather than being gentle about it, I was genuinely suddenly angry because of these ridiculous revolting comments. Otherwise, I think, as I've said before, most of the relationship, the doctor-patient relationship, is predicated in non-romantic love. I think patients want us to love them as a son, mother, father, daughter, because if we do, then we will do better for them. We'll pull out all the stops. Placebo means I will please. And I think in the vast, vast majority of cases, at least in our National Health Service, patients come with trust and a sense of wanting to build that relationship. That may be changing, but not for me. What about putting the boot on the other foot? What if the patients don't like us, rather than vice versa? As part of our accreditation appraisal process, from time to time we have to take patient surveys as to whether the patients felt that after they had seen a consultation, they were treated with dignity, the quality of information giving was appropriate, treated with kindness. It's an excellent exercise, and without not bragging about it, patients, objectively, according to these measures, patients appreciate the service that I get. It's like getting 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. I don't know, whatever these things are that allow you to review car salesmen and so on, have always had 5-star reviews across the board. And that, again, I thought this was just a feature of that relationship of patients wanting to please. But these are patients who had been treated, who were in the outpatient department, who were in the midst of battle, as it were. Still, the scores are very high. I mean, I speak to my colleagues, that's not uniformly the case. Patients actually do use these feedback forms as a means of, I think in a positive rather than negative way, reflecting back on that individual doctor's and the way that they were treated. And it has caused several of my colleagues to think quite hard about their style, their personal style and approach to patients. So that sense of feedback is important. What about losing trust? So if that's at the heart of everything that we do, then what would be an objective measure of losing trust? Again, in our healthcare system, it's exceedingly has been exceedingly unusual for a patient to request second opinions. Now, that's changing. The government are trying to change it. leaders of the NHS are trying to change it so that patients feel assured that they can seek second opinions. And again, in all the years and days and weeks and months and minutes I've been a cancer doctor, it has been incredibly infrequent that somebody has sought a second opinion after I've said something or other. Incredibly infrequent. So that may be, it may be a measure of trust. But again, I've lived through an NHS in which seeking second opinions was something of a rarity and so on. So I'd be really interested to see what you think in your own practice, in your own sphere of healthcare practice. Is it possible for us to look after patients that we don't like, or should we be honest and say we don't like you? A relationship is broken down. I want you to be seen by a colleague. I want you to be nursed by somebody else. Has that happened? Is that something that you think is common, may become more common? What about when trust breaks down the other way? Can you think of instances in which the relationship, for whatever reason, just didn't work, and the patient had to move on because of that loss of trust, and what underpinned it? I'd be really interested. As always, this is one of those small Medscape videos in which I seek to be informed rather than the other way around. And I'd be really interested in your posts and any notes that you might want to leave. Can we truly look after patients that we don't like, or can we rise above it as Hippocrates might have done? Thanks for listening as always. The time being, Medscapers, over and out, and thank you.